What if the prototype isn't just the villain of Poppy Playtime, but the leader of something far more disturbing? Not an army, not a rebellion, a cult. Because the deeper you look into what the experiments say, what they do, and what Catnap became, it starts to feel less like survival and more like worship. He built a religion inside of it. Most people think the experiments followed the prototype because he saved them, or because they fear him. But cults don't run on fear alone. They run on belief, control of truth, ritual, and on the promise of something greater. And multiple pieces of evidence suggest the prototype isn't just a leader, he's positioning himself as something godlike. The clearest sign of cult's behavior comes from Catnap. Catnap doesn't just obey the prototype, he worships him. We see this in ritualistic behavior, kneeling, devotion, and actions that resemble religious service rather than simple loyalty. This isn't how a soldier behaves, it's how a disciple behaves. Catnap treats the prototype as a savior figure, the one who saved him, and that rescue becomes the foundation for absolute devotion. The prototype sent Theodore Grambow to steal 2 GrabHack 2.0s and 2 green hand attachments. This was his way to escape the facility, but unfortunately, this kid got into an accident and electrocuted himself in play care. He later becomes the infamous Catnap. This shows how he was easily manipulated, and this incident formed a trauma bond between the two. And that's a classic cult tactic. Isolate someone, save them, become their entire source of meaning. From that point forward, loyalty isn't optional, it's sacred. Catnap isn't serving a commander, he's serving a higher power. Dog Day even mentioned, and this is what he does to heretics. He is specifically talking about Catnap here, and anyone who doesn't want to treat the prototype as a god will be hunted by him. Catnap is then seen sacrificing himself for that prototype, almost wanting to be a part of him and not being afraid whatsoever. Now things get even more disturbing. The Wrongside Outimals don't describe the prototype as a leader or even as a monster. They call him a judge. That word is extremely important. A judge doesn't just command. A judge decides who deserves punishment, who deserves mercy, and who deserves to live or die. That's exactly why Mommy Longlegs said she didn't want to be a part of him, just as she was dying. That shows that not every experiment listens to the prototype as Catnap did. This is the same case for Huggy Wuggy. In other words, moral authority. And cult leaders often present themselves this way, not just powerful, but righteous. But there's another chilling detail. The prototype tells them there is no above. Think about what that means. He isn't just ruling them, he's eliminating the idea of anything higher than himself. No heaven, no rescue, no outside world, no authority above him. If the experiments believe there is nothing beyond the facility, then the prototype becomes the highest possible power. And that's exactly how cults trap followers. They remove hope of escape, remove alternate beliefs, replace reality with the leader. If there's no above, then the prototype isn't just their judge, he's their god. Now we get to one of the most disturbing behaviors of all. The prototype collects body parts from other experiments and attaches them to himself. On the surface, this looks practical, replacing damaged components, but symbolically, it's horrifying. He isn't just repairing himself, he's incorporating others into his body, absorbing them, becoming a composite of the fallen. Many cult leaders use the symbolism of unity, becoming one with followers. But the prototype takes the idea literally. Each piece he adds makes him larger, stronger, more inhuman, and more godlike. It also sends a terrifying message to the remaining experiments. Even in death, you will serve him. You cannot escape him. You become part of him. This turns sacrifice into something sacred, and in a cult, sacrifice is the ultimate form of devotion. If the prototype were just leading a rebellion, we would expect strategy, organization, planning, communication. Instead, we see an obsessive belief, experiments acting irrationally, extreme loyalty from specific individuals, language centered on judgment, salvation, and inevitability, not freedom, not escape, submission. Because a rebellion wants to overthrow something, a cult wants to serve something. So why would the prototype build a cult? Power. Not just physical power, psychological power. The scariest part isn't that the prototype killed people, it's that he may have convinced others it was right. And if the experiments truly believe in him, then defeating him isn't just about destroying a monster, it's about breaking a religion. But that raises an even darker question. If the prototype has followers inside the facility, how many experiments are still out there, waiting for his judgment? And how many of them would die for him without hesitation? Because things are only getting darker from here.